Okay, let's see. Now we can see it. I can see it on the audio.
Still recording.
Okay. Well, now let's get back to where we were. So I don't think an eDay should be harder than a traditional school day. But the idea is that it's replacing one. But you have to think about the fact yours is not the only class. Assigning an entire research project with a 5-page paper with 100 pages of reading, to me is, yes, it's rigorous. A, is that relevant to what you're doing in class that day? You know, if you're reading a book, why not add 2 more chapters and write an essay on the chapter? Totally good with that. But hey, go read this math book and report back on everything you learned on algebra. I don't know that that's relevant.
Do you aim for a certain amount of time it should take them to
the length of the class?
Okay, so there is no length of time either. There's nothing specified that is
5 minutes.
Specific length of time. However, what do I shoot for? I'm shooting for, personally, 20 to 30 minutes worth of content, and then 30 to 60 minutes worth of summarization, exercise, a test, an essay, a quiz, something. So I am shooting for somewhere around an hour to an hour and a half. An hour being my best student, an hour and a half being my worst student. I want my worst student in the class, my slowest person that I have in that class, to take no more time than it would have taken him, he would have been in class.
So roughly a class period.
Yes, that's what I'm shooting for, but there's nothing that says time, but I think there should be a maximum time that you're shooting for. Yeah. I personally think that, because, you know, our kids all have 3 classes or 4 classes, so if yours isn't encapsulated in an hour and a half and you're giving them 6 hours worth of work, how are they going to do 6 hours of work times 4? That's just, I don't think that's what we're aiming for. So, that's my 2 cents. And then how they're supposed to set up, we're all supposed to have some section of our class, one of the sections that says eDay lessons on it to make it easy for our kids. Whether it's hidden or open is up to you. Mine is open right now because I had them do a practice eDay lesson to make sure they understood where the eDay lessons are. If you have it hidden and then open it up the day eDays, that's fine too. My section is open, but these eDay lessons are hidden until I open them up that morning, because the last thing I wanted them to do is do the wrong lesson, and that morning I have till 9 o'clock to update it to my current content. So you are allowed to set it in October and leave it. The question is, if you set it in October and now it's March when we're doing eDay, is it relevant to what we're doing, and do the kids need that content? Now, if it's a review of Spanish vocabulary, it may be perfectly relevant every day of the year. You know, because you're like, I'm always harping on vocabulary. They never know how to say whatever, or they never know what these. You could probably build relevant content all year. Probably not. The things we went over in algebra in October that now we're building on all the way to March, and you go back and do an October algebra lesson, is probably not relevant. In fact, they're like, she's just trying to waste my time. And it's not supposed to be about wasting time. You will serve your days, you know, in purgatory while you could be out sledding. That is not the idea of an eDay, okay? So, and also the E stands for electronic. So, if you're having them go online and download a worksheet and work for 5 hours on a worksheet, did they do an electronic assignment at all? No, you just made them use their paper instead of our paper. It's still not electronic. Not that you can't have a PDF, but just saying there should be some electronic component to it. It's supposed to be a blended lesson, something different than they would normally do in your classroom. So, not that it can't replace your classroom. You know, I have, just like we're doing right now, I have the last 5 years recorded of my class, every class. So, what I do on my eDays is I go and find the next lesson that we would have done. I pick 10 to 15 minutes of it, and I maybe break it into 3 5-minute videos. Watch something important that we're going to go over anyway, do a little mini quiz. Watch something else, do a little mini quiz. That's what mine is. I have nothing to grade when I'm done, no essays to go through, it's just done, right? Before we go further on that, you also can't take off if they don't get it done, right? They have 2 weeks to get it completed. However, nothing says you can't get bonus points for having it done that day, which I do.
Yeah, that makes it
I want them to do it that day.
Yeah, when it's relevant, you want them to do it because you're planning on
them knowing
discussing.
It
Yeah, exactly. And so you always run into the problem.
So I like bonus points. eDays are worth bonus points if you do them the day, or actually not the day, prior to us coming to class
Correct.
next.
Right.
So if they go out sledding, and then the next day is an orange day, and they do it before they come in, I'm still happy.
Yeah.
I just want it done before you come back to class.
Yeah, that's my expectation too.
So, I mean, so that's me in my class when I do. So we're supposed to have a practice lesson that you should have already done in your class. That's supposed to be done by November. And if you haven't done it, you can still do it. No one was checking on when the practice lesson. Just make sure they know how to do and where to find your section. And then there should be one on your eDays. Now, mine say eDay lesson - brown 1. Right? This year I don't have any browns. I only have oranges, so I only have to do one to eDay. So mine will say eDay 2, orange 1, right there, because I don't have brown days this year. But you get the idea. You need to say what color it is, because when kids need to know which class they're coming into and what they're doing. So, and I'll check with them to see if that has changed. Maybe he just doesn't realize that's how we taught everybody to do it. And when you asked the question, he said that, which means new teachers.
I didn't say I asked that question.
Okay, that may be a discussion.
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
so how you make your eDays and how you build your eDays is up to you. And everybody should have, when you come in to your dashboard in Moodle, it should say eDay staff development. If you don't see eDay staff development, let me know. Okay, so it has what it's supposed to look like here, and yours would say, brown 1, eDay 2 would say orange 1, which could be the exact same eDay, right? If it's the same class, you don't have to make a new one. And then brown 2 would obviously be a new one. So most high school teachers don't have totally different classes every day, except for Mrs. Miller, who probably has all different classes every day, because I think she only has one section of almost every class that she does. And then there's some examples on really some basic, I don't have anything that says advanced, some basic ones and some advanced ones. In most of these, what I would consider intermediate is some reading along with video that has some sort of a product at the end. This one is making a brochure when they're done. The videos are very short. These are very short videos, and then in this one they have to make a brochure on good parenting. Okay. Now, could a middle school parent do that? Or middle school class? It would be hard, because how are they going to do the brochure? We have Publisher on all the students' laptops, so they have something to do that. They could do it in Google Docs if they were in a computer class that had taught them how to do that. But just remember, when you're doing this, what are we trying to? Is this one trying to teach them about good parenting, or is it trying to teach them how to do a brochure? If you've never done a brochure in your class, this would be a bad example of an eDay, because they could spend 10 hours trying to figure out how to make a brochure over 10 minutes of content if you've never done. So that's kind of one of the relevant things too, is what's the relevant product? Is it something that my kids already know how to do? Okay, maybe in a class
if they've already done brochures.
If you've already done brochures, or any brochure in your class, but to assign a student for a brochure for the very first time, and you not being there, you don't know they know what a brochure is. What kind of brochure? Do we do 3-page trifold brochures, or does that mean a piece of paper? So you kind of have to think through some things like that. So, and then in the end, how are they submitting it? This one's a upload that they do at the end, so you can get it all on Moodle. And the idea with this is they can submit it to you on Moodle, and you can grade it. Mine are usually quizzes, and my videos are usually Edpuzzled, because that way I know they watched the video, and my feedback on what they learned on the video isn't Edpuzzle questions. It is the quiz, and then I automatically have a grade, and I know whether they did it or not right then. Okay, you can. There's nothing wrong with embedding PDFs. Like, this is a set of questions that this teacher wants you to answer, and then upload the PDF back into Moodle with the questions on there. And this would be a good example of where a Word document might be more appropriate. We always say, hey, load PDFs if you want people to look at stuff, but if you're asking them to edit it, PDF not really a good choice, right? Word document, better choice. Or if you use Google Classroom like Dan does, make it a link to a Google Classroom assignment, and they open it up in Google Docs, which obviously they have access to, or they wouldn't have access to this at all, right?
You can set the fields in PDFs to editable, right?
You can, you could, yeah, you could just, I mean, that requires you to do a little more. If you make an editable PDF, then it would work just fine. If they don't have Adobe Acrobat, they can't edit the PDF, but if you know how to make a form fillable PDF, then that's fine too.
Yeah, but it'd be so much easier just to do it.
I would just do a Word doc or Google doc or something.
Well, and that's
that takes
where
a lot of time.
I would say that a really properly done PDF can look really, really nice.
Yeah. It does take a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless you find one that's already done and you just do the form fill thing, but that's a subject of a whole nother class.
Yeah.
So, I guess the next thing is, how do you set these things up for people who don't know? Do you guys know how to make a new block that says eDay and stuff, and the labels? Now, this is if you needed to make a new block. If you didn't have one, you would just go to Edit Settings. You would change your number of blocks that are available here. In this case, it's 2. I'm going to set it up to 6 just to make sure we get a blank one at the end. And then down here now in your class, you've got a new block that you can change. If I turn editing on, you can change that to say from topic 3 to eDay assignments or whatever. You just hit enter, and now that block says eDays. And then you can add your activities, and these are just labels in here with the lines in there. So normally what you do is you add a label on here. It says practice eDays. I'm only doing this so anybody who watches this, even though you all said you already know how to do that, it says practice eDays. I might change my font a little bigger. And then it's clear to the kids coming in here, the practice eDay is right below there, and then I make one that says eDay 1, and I put my assignments in there. I don't have any of those other than the practice visible, and if you haven't done it before, all you have to do is poke it in the eye, it turns gray, and now the kids can't see it, okay? And then you add whatever kind of activity you decide. And really, I either use assignments or quizzes. Those are the only 2 ones I do. You could easily do a journal, would be a nice eDay feedback type thing to do for a class, especially for an English class. You could have a read this and do a journal entry of X number of characters. I think you have to say that, or I liked it. You know, so.
You do a lesson.
Maybe. Well, you could do a lesson, but here's the thing, and I don't know if you guys have ever done lessons. Dan's really good at lessons, okay? Unless you already have the lessons pre-built, I don't think you're going to do a lesson per class before 9 o'clock in the morning that's relevant to your content.
Guaranteed.
Well, if you already had a bait.
And guaranteed you're not going to do it.
Right, okay, that's what I'm saying.
Because you want to have a nice flow with it.
Yeah.
Whereas the morning of, and I've got eDays in my classes, but I'm probably going to make a new eDay that morning. Unless I find one that's right on target, you know? And it's not that big of it. If I want to do a relevant one for my class right now, on what we're going over, all I'd have to do is go to my YouTube site. Go to my YouTube site. Find the current class, and honestly, this is what I would do that morning if I didn't already have one already made. And obviously, I can do this because I have been recording, which is why I started recording, right? So, not that. You know, it's too late right now. This is your first year back, right? But if you start thinking about it now and start recording all your classes and loading them into YouTube unlisted, no one ever has to see your YouTube videos, right? Trying to get too scary.
You gotta have the right class.
I just tried one to make them to post for them to watch.
Well,
it was scary.
What'd you say?
I made one and it was scary.
First of all, you don't have to be in it. Like right now, I'm in it. There's a camera over there.
I was not physically.
I might be in it. I don't know if it's.
I was not physically in it.
Just
still scary.
Yeah. Why? It's still scary. Okay.
Just recording.
Yours were really good. I liked yours.
I'm just recording screen.
When I subbed for you that one time.
Who? Who are you talking about? Oh, him.
Brian.
Okay, so I'm in the memory section. If I was going to do one, I would just be going memory to start off with, and find the class that I wanted to embed in my class. I'm just gonna say this one because it's a 15-minute class that I did starting on memory. And then I could just go and make a quiz And this is my easy, very little work on my part one. And in the top of the quiz right here, I just have the video embedded.
No, that's not the whole address.
They won't see any of that address.
No, that's not the full address.
Oh, did I miss something? No, you only go to the end. Everything after the list doesn't matter. You only go to the end. Anything after that, if you copy it, it would make it show the whole. I don't want them to have to watch the whole playlist.
No, I thought you were.
Oh no, I'm just saying this first video.
Yeah.
So, and then I would just say, watch the following video
Thanks for not telling me.
and take this quiz, right? So, once I'm done, I could say save and display, and then this is what they're gonna get is watch. Oh, I did get the. How'd I get 2? I don't know how I get 2 in there. So then I would just add some questions right out of this test section that's covered in that. And it's relevant to where the kids are right now. It's a review maybe of some of the materials new, and I have 5 questions that were covered in that video. And I've got 15 minutes of content, I've got relevant questions, and I've got instantaneous feedback.
Kids are going to be way used to that. I mean, it used to be, I felt like I needed to do a practice eDay. I don't do a practice eDay.
I hope at this point,
most
of the kids have done enough blended activities in every single class by the time they get. I mean, I know they're doing them in dance class.
Well, I'd have to say, is like, seriously, this is what my 8th grade social studies was.
And it should
there's videos and there's lessons.
There should be no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, and this, I mean, it just took me 2 minutes, right? All I have to do is pick out some. I would have to watch the video. And make sure I ask questions that are relevant to the video, but I've already got a question bank, and I can make new ones, if I wanted to.
What color shirt was I wearing?
So the quiz you do right on there.
Right on there. So when they get to here on the eDay lesson down here, when they see this, it says eDay 1, eDay Brown 1. They click on it, they see the video, and I would change this so it'd say watch this video and take the questions when you're done, and at the bottom it says enter quiz on them. So they watch that video and they enter the quiz, and then they just take the quiz.
When you press the quiz button, it's got all those things on the side, and that's where you can answer your questions.
Yeah, so right now I'm in the quiz, right? So now I say edit quiz. There are no questions in the quiz. So now I would just go and add some questions from my question bank, and I go and pick. Oh, I'm not actually in my class, so I don't have my question bank. So
add a new question.
If I did, I could pick them here. I'll do an 8th grade math question out of their question bank. There we go. There's a couple questions from their question bank, and then I just say add questions to quiz, and then
like they watched the video and that has nothing to do.
Well,
that should be your own
He's
eDay.
done that. On purpose, though.
So obviously I wouldn't do those. And then you can the grade. As far as the grade, I still have a grade. I usually make it worth a quiz to make sure they do it.
Oh yeah.
I don't make it more than that, but they have 2 weeks, and here's the thing: the kids who don't do it, you have to give them a 0. Okay. After 2 weeks. So. You have to think about how much of an impact you want this to have on their grade card
10,000 points.
Huh?
10,000 points.
You failed.
It's up to you. It's up to you. You don't do your eDay, you fail for the quarter.
So the quiz has to
Your
be
move's
multiple
limited
choice,
to
right?
200.
Like if
Oh
I
no,
have a
the
quiz
quiz
on the
doesn't have to. There's
desktop-
all kinds of questions.
But
If you
can
go,
weight the 200.
if you say add a new question, these are
Take it
all the
in.
different kinds of questions you can have a quiz. Multiple choice, true, false, short answer, numerical, where they have to calculate and put in a number at the end.
Oh, that's-
And on numerical, you can say how close they have to be. You can say plus or minus 2. You can say plus or minus 0.005.
I've done that one time.
Calculated, I haven't used, but it's actually showing how they did the calculations. Essay questions I use all the time. Anytime it's a short answer, I use essay.
Matching.
I have to read it. Matching I use all the time. I don't know what random short answer matching is. I've never used that one. I've never used embedded answers.
That's not bad, but it takes a little bit writing it in.
Does it?
Yeah, that sounds.
I've used drag and drop text and drag and drop text
Those
in
ones are
sentences
easy.
with missing
Drag and
words,
drop.
where you drag the word into the right thing.
But how about the part where you actually can do it with an image?
And
So,
I use
like, if
I
you
use
actually
drag
have
and
a
drop
picture or
markers
something,
where they have to label stuff.
Yeah,
That's tricky.
that
They have to match it to the story.
yeah, because you have the zone that you
Yeah.
establish.
There's got to be these.
It looks really neat.
There's
Man, there's a lot of setup on it.
Like how they show
I've
their
only
steps
done
and
that
the
a couple
problems.
times.
Yeah.
I was like,
So that, I mean, there's all
That's what
kinds
happens,
of questions that you could do in Moodle. Now, how easy would it be for math? I think you could do social studies easily, English easily, do my class easily, science
Spanish
depending on what
easily.
you're trying to do. Well, I don't see why Spanish would be different.
I said
than English.
Spanish
Oh, okay.
easily.
I thought you were being
We are
sarcastic.
different.
I thought you were being
We have
sarcastic.
accents.
Biology, obviously there's some things you can't do in biology, but just don't ask the questions that you can't do on your eDay. You know,
Yeah.
there's no reason to make it impossible for yourself.
Could you do a drag and drop though in chemistry where you actually had to grab and drag the right things in this
Into
area
the-
yeah.
to
Yeah.
make this?
So here's how bad some of my students were. By the way, this picture has been up. I just want to point this. This picture has been up. Garrett drew it a month ago, easily. Okay.
Okay.
Half of my class missed the question of where an M2 port is on a motherboard when it's labeled on this picture on the wall. And Garrett's like, "Did you leave that up there?" I'm like, "Yep." These kids who didn't know still got it wrong, even though the answer
It's been up there for
was
so long. Why
on
are we
the
paying
wall.
attention to it still?
I found that very
they-
humorous.
They just left that, yeah.
So there are all kinds of ways to do it. Any of the Moodle modules make great eDays, whether you want to use videos or make it a web quest where you go to websites and read. I mean, I don't know how hard it is in Spanish to say go to this site that's in Spanish
We have websites.
and read it in Spanish and then answer these
What about
questions.
the one you have on your YouTube? You could take the.
You mean Edpuzzle?
Thank you. Edpuzzle.
Yeah.
You can do that really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really.
You
quick.
can, because to Edpuzzle a video, like, I don't know if you guys have ever
I have all my
Edpuzzle.
videos of
You
Edpuzzle.
want to be in Chrome to Edpuzzle something, it makes it easier for you. But if I take this same video,
Yeah, but it doesn't import the grades into anything.
it doesn't, that's why I don't
Yeah.
use,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't use Edpuzzle to grade it, I just use
Just for the
Edpuzzle to
video.
make them
Okay.
watch
I
it
just
to
wanna make
ensure
sure
that they
I didn't
watched it.
mess something
So have you ever used Edpuzzle before?
No, I have not.
So if you have to add Edpuzzle
Okay.
to your apps, but like I'm in a video and I just hit edit with Edpuzzle
Yeah.
That's
right
fine.
here when I'm in
That's
Chrome.
fine.
It's awesome.
And
too,
now I
because-
can say I only want them to watch this part of the video.
Right.
And so that crops the video, and then I'm going to ask some questions in the video. So here, right
Insert a question.
right there, I insert a question, so I hit that, and then I can add either an open-ended question, a multiple choice question, or just a comment in the video. They cannot fast forward. They must play it.
If they miss
So
it.
They
it's
can
the
go
ads
backwards.
on Netflix or whatever.
What?
Not Netflix. It's like ads.
If they miss
An
it.
online program. You have to watch the ad
Yeah,
before you
watch
move
that.
on.
So you can have them ask questions and stuff as they go through here.
And it
I
doesn't-
will add ridiculous comments just to make it stop. And you're like, why would you do that?
Like,
well,
where are your eyes right now?
because then they can't, they cannot just
Skip
walk
ahead.
away. If they start the thing and walk away, it'll be right there when they come back, and they have to hit play again, and then you know.
I like that.
You know,
The
in
other
your
nice thing
reports,
about
you
this,
watch
though,
the whole
Did I do
thing.
that?
You don't get all
But
the stuff.
and you can't. This isn't just doing it to your YouTube. You can do any YouTube video on YouTube. So if there's a movie out there that you want to watch 20 minutes of, some part of a shark attack or something, you could go and take this 1.5 hour long video and just go, no, I just want you to watch there and there, and you post it. When you're done,
Can you crop multiple sections within the same video?
you cannot split the video.
Darn. I didn't know if they added that. I
But
thought
you
they
can.
did.
I have used the same video 3 or 4 times where I use this section.
Well, that's true.
And I post that. And then I
That's
use
true.
this section and I
Yeah.
post that. Right?
That's the only
So
hard part.
that's
Yeah.
why I have some of them are multiple ed puzzles because of that, because I didn't want to watch an 1.5 hour worth of something.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you're done and you say finish, I didn't log in apparently.
And the students have to do that the first time, right?
They do too. They have to log
Yeah.
in and join the class.
And once they get into, if you have chapters, like I have on all my modules.
Yeah, so I put everything
Once
in
they
hardware.
get in, they have to have a code to get into. Well, mine, they have to have a code to each module, but then it stays the same for each section of that module.
Okay.
They don't have to, so they have to join every module with the code.
I think it's a long way around the barn on this, but I think that you, since this is a Chrome tool, that you can actually take the grades into a Google Classroom, and then you can actually export those into a
You probably could. I don't doubt at all that
CSV
you
file,
could.
and that would go into Moodle.
You could download
Yeah.
it. I don't question at all that you can download it and upload it into Moodle. It just isn't automatically there. So I'm lazy and I just use Edpuzzle to make them watch the video, threaten them that I'm going to see if they didn't watch it, and I do look. But then I make a quiz because it just shows up.
It has a real nice summary. We can see if they have
Yeah,
watched
you
it.
can see. When you're done here with this thing, and I'm just going to do it, all you have to do is hit the share button. It gives you the code to put that into Moodle, and you can pick what size of a player you want it to show up in Moodle. The medium one's fine. So all I do is take that, and then if I go to my Moodle class, back here, I'm going to go back to the settings on it. Like right here where I had this, I have to go to code. So you do that by hitting the button to show more, and then right there, that's to show the code. And now if I go down here to the end and add that in there, that's going to drop that Edpuzzle. I didn't take out the other video, should have while I was there. But now it's going to drop the Edpuzzle one in there as well.
Yeah.
So for them to watch it now, they have to click login with Google, and then it'll pop up and ask what account. And now they're watching it in Edpuzzle, and you can see they can't fast forward. See how it's locked? They can back up at any time.
Oh.
So as they're watching the video, they can come back to here if they want to re-listen to it, and they can go as far forward as they got in the video, but they can't ever just slide forward. I just see that.
Yeah, see,
I like that.
that deserves a laugh.
I must
and
watch.
he's not laughing. That deserves a laugh.
Must watch video.
Because when you're like, you are learning.
So, well, that was one of the major things when we first started the blended learning is I got to post videos. How do I know they watched them?
Yeah.
And the answer was you don't, but you can do a quiz.
Yeah.
And if they got 100 on, okay, here's the thing. If they get 100 on the quiz, and I had this, a couple of students like, you didn't watch the video? Yeah, but I already knew that. Got 100 on the quiz. I don't know. I still wanted you to watch me saying it, but you got 100 on the quiz, I don't know.
Yeah.
Redundancy is necessary.
Maybe it wasn't as relevant for them as it.
Yeah. So, anyways.
You lost half off because you didn't watch the video.
That was part of the instructions.
Yeah, watch the video. You didn't do it. So my eDays, they can't even see them until after the final exam, and that's only because they wouldn't have had an eDay before then. But you can see all mine are hidden, and I'll unhide them when. And it used to be this. So it used to be
Practice.
that it was a brown day, orange day, white day.
Yep, that's right.
At one point. So you do one of each, and then the white day was even supposed to be shorter because they had 8 classes to do then. And then, as far as I thought, we went back to brown, orange, brown. So
Well, you let me know because I took those.
We have
those
not
labels
used
off.
them in years, so.
yeah, it has been a while.
It's possible.
Now I have mine
I just
set
put
up for
eDay 1,
restrictions
eDay 2,
now
eDay 3.
too. So you have to have done you have to have gone here to the eDay introduction to get to the practice lesson, and to see that. And I leave a forum open, by the way, and I want kids to ask questions in the forum, not to email me. So I have it set up so you can email me, but I want you to ask questions here, because if you have a question, this is me, if you have a question that somebody else probably has the same question, now everybody gets to see the answer to your question.
That's right.
If it's something that you feel, I don't really know, then you can email me, but I prefer to have them just posted in the forum.
Is that a new thing there?
What do you mean?
That's a form.
Yeah, a new form.
I don't think so.
Why?
You made it in January 8th.
I don't know why it says that.
I know that's what's throwing me off. I was like, what is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't just make it this year.
Well,
I wonder if when I set the dates, you know how the date thing lets you set everything to the next year? Maybe it was January 2017 last year or something. So
oh, yeah.
you have to be available all day by email, whether you're doing that at your home or whether you're doing that on your phone from the snow slopes. I don't think anybody will know, as long as you answer the emails and are available for the
During the
students.
school day.
So during the school day, yeah.
7:30 to 2:30.
Yep.
Yep. So, but obviously they're not going to contact you before 9 because we said you don't have to have it up there till 9.
No, but I have had students email before 9, and I give them a curt response.
And ask where it is.
You're an overachiever. Well, wonderful, but it won't be posted till 9.
And I'll post it before 9 if I'm ready, but that's when we have to have them posted. Anybody got any questions? That was supposed to just be, hey, here's what eDays are. Here's how
Amazing
we've done.
presentation.
It was absolutely enlightening.
I feel lighter just being here.